I could see that his parents were strict, like, but it was also like they were raising American kids when they were not didn't really always consider themselves fully American. Like I talked to some authors who are like that. Either they are in your father's place where they were raised as like they were American kids growing up, but they had to find their role and with respecting the culture, whether or not they had a choice in their normal lives versus in trying to enjoy American life that what had to offer whatever decade that you were in from my
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because it actually what was going on at this time was that there were a bunch of kids hanging around on street corners not knowing what to do with themselves after school. And a lot of the city officials were worried that these guys were going to turn into gangs, which they, informally were. So they created these things called settlement houses for
mm,
after school activities where you could do intramural sports, you could take science classes. And in one of those settlement houses, they had a theater and they were putting up little stage productions, and that's where Leonard caught the bug. That's where it happened. They had to do something with these kids who didn't know what to do with themselves
that's
because they were
amazing.
not assimilated. They're living in this very insular neighborhood. Their parents don't know what to do with them. They don't know anything about America. So these settlement houses were very instrumental in helping these kids transition into the culture that they were now living in. And this was key for my dad to catch the acting bug. And then one summer he was in Boston College in the drama department. He got the scholarship to go, and that made a huge impression on him. And this is why his journey is so spectacular. At age 18, he told his parents, I want to go to Hollywood and study acting and pursue a career there. And they thought he was
Yeah.
crazy. And he got on a train, 18 years old. He got on a 3-day train ride to LA with no connect. And his parents wouldn't support it. They didn't want to help him because they thought they wanted him to live their idea of the American dream. You go to college, you become a doctor or a lawyer. That's it. And that was not Leonard in any way, shape, or form. That was his older brother. Mel went to Northeastern MIT, but that was not Leonard by any stretch of the imagination. So it took a lot of guts for him to break away and break out of that bubble and transform himself in American society. And my dad would often say that's why the Spock character for him was so was he was able to bring that character to life because Spock is the same way. Spock's an alien. He's working on the bridge of the Enterprise. They're all human. They're multiracial, multinational, but they're all human. He's the only outsider. And that's what resonates with all these fans all over the world. It's all of us loners and geeks and nerds and weirdos. We all identify with Spock because he's the ultimate outsider. And it's actually okay to be so. In fact, for a lot of people, it's like, it was cool. He made being an outsider and a geek and a nerd a cool thing.